Hello and welcome. I am Margarita Moro Beltran, founder of Peques Anglo-Spanish Nursery Schools. Since 1999, Peques has been built on a single, unwavering belief that the early years are the most extraordinary window of a child's life, and that what we do during those years shapes everything that follows. Today, I want to take a few minutes to share with you the thinking behind our approach to language and to answer the questions I hear most often from our families. Because when you understand why we do what we do, you become a powerful part of it. The Peques language model is built on the research of Professor Colin Baker of the University of Wales, one of the world's foremost authorities on bilingual and multilingual development in young children. His work established the framework we call one person, one language. The principle is this: each person in a child's environment consistently speaks one language in all their interactions with that child. Always the same language. Always the same person. This consistency is what allows the brain to build each language deeply, rather than superficially. And the reason this matters so profoundly in the early years is because of what neuroscience tells us about the developing brain. Before the age of 5, a child's brain is forming language pathways at a speed and precision that will never be replicated again. The capacity to acquire a language with native fluency, with natural rhythm, with no accent, exists in these years and these years only. By the age of 7, that window begins to close. What your child is experiencing at Peques right now is not simply childcare, it is the most important linguistic opportunity of their life. Now, I know that parents have questions, and I want to answer them honestly. The first question I hear most often is this: will learning 3 languages at once confuse my child or slow their development? The answer, supported by decades of research, is no. Not only does trilingual exposure not cause confusion, it actively strengthens the developing brain. Children who grow up with multiple languages develop superior executive function, the cognitive capacity to focus, to switch between tasks, to filter irrelevant information, and to solve problems. They are not managing 3 separate systems with difficulty. They are building a richer, more flexible mind. The occasional mixing of languages that you may notice, a Spanish word in an English sentence, or Mandarin appearing at the dinner table, is not confusion. Which brings me to the next question. My child comes home mixing languages. Should I be concerned? No. What you are witnessing is called code switching, and it is one of the most reliable signs that your child's multilingual development is progressing exactly as it should. The brain is actively managing multiple language systems simultaneously, and in the early stages, it draws on all of them fluidly. This is sophisticated cognitive behavior, not a gap. It reduces naturally as competence in each language grows, typically between the ages of 3 and 5. When it happens at home, simply continue speaking your own language warmly and naturally. You do not need to correct it. My child has gone very quiet at nursery since starting. Is something wrong? This is one of the most important things I want every Peques parent to understand. When a child is newly immersed in a language they do not yet speak, they will often enter what researchers call the silent period. They stop attempting to produce language and instead observe, absorb, and process. This is not distress. It is not delay. It is the brain doing precisely what it is designed to do, building the internal map of a language before it begins to use it. This period can last days, weeks, or in some cases a little longer. What your child needs during this time is exactly what Peques provides: warm, patient, consistent presence. The words will come, and when they do, they will be well-founded. We speak a different language at home. How does that fit with what Peques does? It fits beautifully. The research is unambiguous on this point. A child's home language is not a barrier to acquiring additional languages. It is a foundation. The stronger your child's grounding in their home language, the more readily they acquire others. At Peques, we hold English, Spanish, and Mandarin with equal consistency throughout the day. At home, you hold your own language with the same confidence. These do not compete. They complement one another. Your child is building a linguistic identity that is genuinely plural, and that is a profound gift. How do I support this at home? Do I need to speak Spanish or Mandarin? You do not. The most important thing you can do at home is speak your own language with confidence and consistency. Read to your child, tell them stories, sing to them. The richness of your home language directly strengthens their capacity to acquire the languages at Peques. If you do wish to reinforce Spanish or Mandarin at home, simple things make a difference. Songs, counting, naming everyday objects. But it is not a requirement. Your presence as a consistent, warm language model in your own tongue is the single most valuable contribution you can make. And now to the questions that I believe matter most to every family at Peques. What are the long-term advantages of growing up trilingual? They are significant, and they are lasting. Trilingual children consistently demonstrate stronger memory, greater creative thinking, a more developed capacity for empathy across cultures, and a natural ease in navigating complex social environments. The cognitive advantages of multilingualism have been shown to extend well into adulthood, with research suggesting that multilingual individuals show greater cognitive resilience later in life. Beyond the neurological, there is something less quantifiable but equally important. A trilingual child moves through the world with a breadth of cultural understanding that monolingual peers simply do not have access to. They do not just speak languages, they inhabit them. And finally, will my child be better prepared for school because of what they have acquired at Peques? Yes, comprehensively. The cognitive skills developed through multilingual acquisition, sustained attention, mental flexibility, the ability to hold and manipulate information across systems, are precisely the skills that predict academic success. A child entering primary school with strong foundations in multiple languages arrives with a more developed working memory, a greater capacity for literacy, and a natural confidence in communication. They have already learned, at the deepest level, that there is more than one way to express a thought. That understanding will serve them in every subject, in every year, for the rest of their education. At Peques, we do not simply prepare children for the next stage. We prepare them for a life in which the world is genuinely open to them. Thank you for trusting us with these years. They are the most important ones. Have a wonderful week.